Hello dear viewers and welcome to RTD's English News Edition. For the top stories tonight are: the head of state, His Excellency Ismail Migire, inaugurated the new Anglais Asamo road. The party submitted the application files for the legislative election to the Ministry of Interior. Thank you for joining us in our newsroom. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Migire, proceeded today, Thursday, late in the morning in Anglais, the inauguration of the road now connecting this region to the neighboring town of Asamo. This new road, a stretch of about 25 kilometers, will contribute significantly to the opening up of the locality of Asamo, an indisputable agriculture stronghold whose inhabitants have struggled until then to trade properly for lack of viable road infrastructure with the neighboring city of Anglais and hence with the rest of the country. In addition to the possibility of quickly selling their crops in fruits and vegetables, economics specifically of this locality, the city of Asamo, also opens with the realization of the new road section. The prospect of developing a significant number of other economic projects, including catering, hotels and tourism. The sale of camel's milk, a phenomenon increasingly prized by Djiboutians, has also, with the commissioning of this new road, a means of greater increase in its consumption due to the fact that customers can now quickly get them. Now that to get to Asamo from Anglais, the drive will not extend more than 3 hours, as it was the case until then. It will be done in just 20 minutes. It should be noted that the inhabitants of Asamo only find their account with the commissioning of this new road. The Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Health and other departments whose employees and managers are regularly brought to Asamo will break with the difficulties of access to this locality. Subsequently, the President of the Republic visited the locality of Asamo. He was warmly welcomed by the people of Asamo, who benefited from the Drought Resilience and Sustainable Livelihoods program in the country of the Horn of Africa. The draft resilience project supports the realization of infrastructure for mobilizing and securing water resources in order to improve water access and management, and thus to improve the productivity of agricultural production and livestock farming. This is the meaning of the rehabilitation works of 180 small irrigated perimeters that are currently underway in the watersheds of Weima and Beider. And at the end of the inauguration of the new Ali Sebi Assam Road, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Ismail Mergele, went directly to the locality of Asamo under the Palaver 3, where he received a collective representing all the democratic components of this locality, including the notables, members of the Association of Farmers and Traders of this region, young people and women. The Minister of Agriculture, Water and Fisheries, Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Awale, has in an interview indicated that the government has spared a lot of efforts for agricultural production thanks to the President. An engineer will be at your disposal to help you grow agricultural products, he promised the inhabitants. The Minister of Agriculture has urged agroforestry farmers to benefit from the expertise of the engineer in order to enhance production. And before its fellow citizens, the President Gelle addressed the public, where he welcomed the commissioning of this new road and the prospect of development and opening up with which it flows for the inhabitants of Asamo. Now that you have better road access with the rest of the country, make the most of your profits and revenues, he urged. The head of state reiterated to its fellow citizens in this region his determination to permanently listen to them and give them all the assistance they need for their economic and social influence. The President of the Republic has in his speech also expressed his thanks and appreciation to the people of the region for their warm welcome and hospitality, praising Asamo for its moderate climate and arable land. The project coordinator, Mr. Ibrahim Elmi, explained that the inauguration of the new Ali Sebi Assamo Road will be important for the inhabitants of Asamo to start a new dynamism in the development. In continuing with the national news, in accordance with the provisions and as announced by the Minister of Interior, the various parties to the coalition has this afternoon delivered the lists of their candidates in the legislative elections of 23 February. A total of 4 party groups competing in these elections, namely the UMP, the CDU, the UDG, and the RD. It was the President of the UMP, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, who came to file the list of the candidates of the Union for the presidential majority to know the UMP for these legislative elections and handed over to the Minister of the Interior. For his part, the Minister of the Interior gave them the receipt. Then it was the turn of the CDU, namely Center for the Unified Democracy of Ali Sebi, headed by Mr. Harun Hassan Gidi. As agreed, he handed the list to the Minister of the Interior, who then handed him the provisional receipt. The coalition parties, Democratic Union for Justice, UDG, and the Democratic Party for the Development, the PTD, at its head, Elaya Gedi Haret, handed the candidacy files of the city of Djibouti in Tijoro region. Then the Minister of Interior handed over the provisional receipt. And finally, the Party Republican Alliance for Democracy, the ARD of the Tijoro region, headed by Hassan Mohammed Hassan, handed the candidature file to the Minister of the Interior, who then gave him the provisional receipt. As part of its inspection tour of preparations for the voting on February 24, the President of the CENI, Mr. Dini Mohamed Burhan, along with his staff, went today to the Tujara region, to the Dikhil region. The delegation was welcomed by Dikhil Prefect Mohammed Sheikh Hassan and the members of the CENI, led by Mr. Hamadou Ali Mohammed. In a second step, the CENI delegation paid a visit to the Dikhil Prefect Mohammed Sheikh Hassan to learn about the preparations for the presidential election, for this legislative election, before visiting the various ticketing counters where they were able to read the electronic management of the electoral registrature and other information such as the speed of withdrawal of voters' cards, working hours and the like. After 3 months of intense work at technical and tactical training ended this morning in the Police Academy Idris Farah Abani located in Nagad. More with Mandak Mahmoud.
After 3 months of intense tactic and technical training, this morning an ending ceremony was held at the Academy of Police called Ibrahim Farah Abane, located in Nagar. Throughout those trainings, the participants benefited a high-level supervision provided by the Italian Carabinieri and from some experts of the Djiboutian National Police. The objective of those trainings were to enable Somali agents to have the necessary knowledge in various fields such as the control of the territory, the maintenance of the public order, the juridical and scientific police techniques to better protect their citizens and environment, as well as important personalities in their country. Over 171 Somalis, including police officers from Somalia, have so far received intense training called Miad Somalia. The ceremony was focused not only on the security of Somalia but also on the countries of the Horn of Africa. The Minister of Justice, Mr. Mumin Ahmed Sheikh, was present at the ceremony, as well as the Minister of Transport, Mr. Mohammed Abdul Qadir Musa, but also the Minister of the Decentralization, Mr. Hamadou Ahmed Aghamis, and the Director General of the National Police, the Colonel Abdullah Abdi Farah, followed by General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim and the Somalian National Police General, Mr. Mukhtar Af'as, and last but not least, the Chief Commander of the Carabinieri, Mr. Gino Migali.
Then the Somali National Police General Mukhtar Afrah first thanked Colonel Abdullah Abdi Farah, and President of the Republic Ismail Murgele, who has been sparing no effort for the pacification and stability of Somalia. These trainees granted to peace officers who serve in Somalia to ensure the safety of their fellow citizens, and we are very grateful, he said. He wished a good luck to the young police officers in bravery at the end of their training and urged them to carry out the mission that devolves upon them. Speaking for this occasion, the Colonel Abdullah Abdi Farah urged the Somali police to be patient, courageous and determined, and to make sacrifices to ensure the maintenance of order and security of their country. After 3 months spent with our brothers in arms, it is difficult to say goodbye, but I hope with all my heart, he said, to see you someday in peace and stability in your country. Everything will now depend on your actions. It is up to you to remove the hatred from the hearts of Somalis, to restore solidarity and love between your brothers and sisters. Good luck, and God watch over you in your country, he concluded. Then the Somali police officers performed a demonstration in front of the officials and the personalities present at the ceremony. The demonstrations were in various fields such as territorial control, judicial and scientific aspects of the police.
lancer une bouteille de Molotov sur le terrain.
The ending ceremony of the trainings of the Somali officers was crowned by the elevation of the 2 Italian officers to the Order of 27 June Officer. It is the decoration of General of the Italian Carabinieri, Mr. Gino Micali, and his deputy. The decoration was made successively by the Chief of the Army Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, the Director General of the National Police, Colonel Abdullahi Abdi Farah. The 32nd ordinary session of the Executive Council of the African Union opened on Tuesday in the African Union's Nelson Mandela Plenary Hall in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mohamed Ali Yusuf, and his delegation took part in this 32nd session. The Executive Council, which is held as a prelude to the summit that will open on January 28 in the Ethiopian capital, and will have for agenda to review a number of issues, including the report of the Committee of Permanent Representatives, the report of the Follow-up Committee for the Implementation of the Agenda 2063. Now let's note that this session will also proceed to the election of the 10 members of the Peace and Security Council of the African Union for a 2-year term. Djibouti is a candidate for this election of members of the CPS to represent East Africa. And on the news outside our borders, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan announced that the military operation on Syrian soil against the People's Protection Units will continue until the last member of this terrorist organization is eliminated. Operation Ramo Deliverer, which was initiated to clean up Afrin from terrorists, is proceeding successfully, added the Turkish president. Since Saturday, more than 90 Kurdish fighters and Syrian pro-Ankara rebels have been killed. 3 Turkish soldiers were killed and 2 civilians were killed by rocket fire targeting southern Turkey. Kurdish militia today felt let down by their American and French allies. The Turkish army plans to eventually launch an operation to dislodge Kurdish groups from Manbij, a city in northern Syria. That's all for this evening news. Thank you for joining us on RTD and have a good night.